Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. This is Shyam Good here. Now, before I start the discussion, if there is no issue with the sound, can you please give me a thumbs up? Please let me know that I'm audible to you so that we can start the discussion. Okay, done. Let's start. So, welcome to another webinar. And this webinar will be focused on mains based current affairs, specifically from GS paper 3. And in this discussion, we are going to cover 6 very important topics. I will show you the list, don't worry. Now, before we start the discussion, a very important announcement. We already have started the main, all of you, to attempt the mains test series, wherein we have 15 tests, wherein 10 tests will be modular and 5 will be full length test. Okay, so in first cycle, we'll have a modular, that is subject wise, right? 5 papers, then another 5 subjects, and finally GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 plus essay paper. So that is basically the 15 test series, which I would recommend to all of you. Please attend. Please attend. In addition to that, after the test is over, right, we will give you the evaluated papers back. Right, that is online system, the BP app. Please log into the BP app. You will get a lot of information regarding this. And plus, we will also provide you the discussion, right? The discussion of this paper. So this is basically the layout of the MTS, that is a mains test series that we have planned, and it has already been launched, right? So this is one announcement I wanted to make before starting the discussion for the day. Now, what are the topics we are going to discuss today? 6 topics. Let's look at the list now. Replicating UPI success abroad will be very tough. Very often in recent times, we are seeing the newspaper articles where Government of India says, we will promote the model of UPI, Unified Payments Interface, not only in India, but outside India. Okay. So whether this UPI will be successful abroad or not, let's try and understand. Second, de-dollarization. Can the dollar be replaced in the international market? Is there any possibility? What has happened? After Russia-Ukraine war, what has happened? Has the favor for usage of dollar, has it increased? Or dollar has lost a favor in the international market? Can rupee be the answer to that? Etc. Let's try and understand. Will ONDC experience a success like UPI? Right? I'm pretty sure you've heard of ONDC, Open Network Digital Commerce, Open Network for Digital Commerce, ONDC. So Government of India has promoted this idea of a ONDC now. Can it experience a success like UPI? Because UPI promoted democratization, right? In case of payments, online payments, can we use the same and say that ONDC will also democratize the e-commerce segment? Let's try and understand it. Next, 2 articles, one each from Yojana and Kurukshetra, fostering rural crafts to one district to one product. This is right, an article from Kurukshetra, May 2023 edition. Startups are revolutionizing India's growth story. Another article from Yojana, May 2023. Then finally, a very small article, but I felt it was relevant both for UPSC prelims as well as mains. UPI Lite needs more push from the banks. So all these are from current affairs. Let's discuss each of the article one by one. Let's start. First one, right? Can we replicate success of UPI that we are experiencing in India? Can we replicate in international market? This was discussed in one of the newspapers, that is Economic Times. Now, what is the idea? Let's try and understand. Government of India very recently has stated, we want to promote UPI like products, similar products of UPI in more than 30 countries. Simple idea, right? We want to promote the UPI like product, similar to UPI, that is from India, that is the product in more than 30 countries. That is, in simple terms, you have used UPI, I'm pretty sure all of you have used UPI, one for making one or the other payments. Sir, what is a long form? Unified Payments Interface. UPI simply stands for Unified Payments Interface. Now, this idea of a unified payments interface was introduced by National Payments Corporation of India. NPCI from 2016 has introduced the model of UPI. And using UPI, you can simply use the app and make payments, right? Simply by using the mobile number or by simply scanning the QR code. Now, what the government of India says is, we will simply use this model in other countries. More than 30 countries, we want to implement the same model. So, question is, will UPI be successful as it is in India, in other countries? If yes, how? If no, why? Can it be successful? Let's try and understand. Now, there are certain factors which majority of the experts say, no, these factors will not lead to success of UPI in the international market. That is, in all these 30 plus countries where government of India wants to introduce it, no, UPI will not be successful. Why? Point number one. All right, I'll come back to this. Point number one, the argument is, where is that? Okay, I'll come to that. Before that, right, there is a concept of internationalization of UPI. I'll tell you why UPI may not be successful in international market. I'll tell this, have patience. Right, what is this? Right, advantage of internationalization of UPI. If UPI will be started to be used in more and more countries, what will happen? Sir, what is the internationalization? Internationalization means the tool will be used not only in India, but outside India. Just to make your right memory fresh, earlier did we discuss concept of internationalization of rupee? Please do let me know. In the earlier webinars, did we discuss the concept of internationalization of rupee? What is the idea of internationalization of rupee? Rupee is used in India. No doubt, we will promote usage of rupee outside India as well. Apply the same logic to UPI. UPI used in India, no doubt, but will promote the utilization of UPI, usage of UPI even outside India. That is internationalization of UPI. Now, if it is adopted across many countries in the globe, what will be the advantage for us? What will be the advantage for India here? Point number one, it will reduce the dependence on the SWIFT system. It will reduce the dependence of the SWIFT system. What is the SWIFT system? SWIFT basically stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Simple idea. Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. Now, what is the utilization? What is the utility of the SWIFT? Imagine you want to send dollars from India to USA, or you want to receive dollars from USA to India. The messaging between the banks is always transmitted through the SWIFT system. Is it okay? Right, the messaging between the banks is always transmitted through the SWIFT system. So you require SWIFT system whenever you want to transfer the dollars or you want to receive the dollars. And don't you think in recent times, there has been a lot of discussion regarding SWIFT system and how can we circumvent it? Yes or no? Please do let me know. This is where I expect you people to read newspapers. After Russia, right, waged war against Ukraine, Russian banks were moved out of the SWIFT system. Russian banks were said, we will not allow you to transfer or receive dollars because we will not allow you to use SWIFT system. And that is the precise reason India has made a special arrangement with Russia. Vostro, Nostro account system. That is basically idea of a SWIFT system. Now, SWIFT system is used for telecommunications. That is, it will help us in fund transfer. Instead of that, if I start using UPI to either transfer funds from India outside India or from outside India to within India, don't you think utility or our dependence on the SWIFT system automatically will go down? Any problem with this? Any problem? Right? We don't have to use SWIFT at all. We will use simply UPI, transfer funds from India, outside India, from outside India to India. So first point, dependence on the SWIFT automatically will go down. Second one, India's soft power in the global market automatically will increase. Now, what is this idea of a soft power? I'll slightly enter into international relation. India wants others to listen to India. Yes or no? India wants others to listen to us. We want them to behave right as per our interest, etc. Now we can make them to do that by providing free vaccinations. Yes, we can do that by providing free vaccinations or not. We can make them right accept our viewpoint by providing free food grains, right? And now by providing a system such as Aadhaar is used, that is the technology of Aadhaar is being used by other countries now. We will also provide UPI. It's our technology. We'll provide a technology to other countries. So when you keep on providing this kind of assistance, don't you think without use of any brute force, without use of any force, automatically they'll start agreeing to, or they will start behaving in protection of our interest? Possible or not? Let me know. This is called as a soft power. Soft power basically means you're not forcing them, you are making them accept your viewpoint without forcing them. That is right, a soft power of India will automatically increase by providing this kind of a technology to other countries. Third one, it will allow the Indians to use the platform for forex transactions. For example, right, let's say I've gone to Dubai now. In Dubai, rupee payment is acceptable. If I've gone to other countries where UPI is used, I can simply use the UPI, scan, and make a payment there itself. So when I'm traveling outside using UPI, I can simply make transactions. I can start making payments whether I'm within India or whether I am outside India. Okay. So it will allow the Indians to use the platform for forex transactions or making payments while traveling to other countries. Next one, NRIs, non-resident Indians. NRIs are nothing but non-resident Indians. NRIs who are sitting outside India, imagine they have made huge amount of earnings. They want to provide certain remittances to their relatives in India. They want to provide certain gifts to the relatives in India. They want to transfer funds for making investments in India. Can we use UPI now if it is available, if it is accepted in other countries, rather than using any other international method of transaction? Can we simply use UPI transfer funds to India? Answer is yes. NRIs can use the UPI payments, right, if they do not have right Indian mobile number. Government is considering to allow foreign remittances through UPI now. Have you heard of remittances? How many have read today's newspaper? Right? Any newspaper except Hindu. How many have read today's newspaper? There is an article regarding remittances. Right? India is one of the largest recipient of remittances. Last year we have received more than $110 billion. This year, right, less than 110, 0.2% decline is going to happen. So argument is simple. We receive lot of remittances. Rather than using any other mode of a transfer of remittances, why don't we simply use a UPI? UPI can be used to transfer funds, that is nothing but remittances. And finally, this is in addition to Aadhaar. In many countries, we have already provided Aadhaar technology for them. Now we are also providing right the UPI technology, which will improve the status of India, right, in the international market. So these are some of the advantages of internationalization of UPI, Unified Payments Interface. Now, in case of India, what has favored the growth of UPI? Right? Why UPI has become so famous in India? And then we will understand whether same features are representing or are they present in other countries. Point number one, the technology companies such as PhonePe, that is financial technology companies such as PhonePe, Google Pay, Paytm, etc., have promoted usage of digital payments. Anybody wants to argue against it? Right? Not now, but until couple of months ago, right? Have you not come across a situation wherein they will give you coupons? Now the coupon value has gone down, right? Google Pay will give you 2 rupees now, 1 rupee in return, etc. But earlier, right? The scratch coupons used to be 25 rupees, 30 rupees, etc. So what has happened is in the last couple of years, right? Again, there were reasons: pandemic, demonetization, all of them are written, right? So there has been a growth in these kind of financial technological companies where they have incentivized customers for using digital transactions. Second one, COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic, right? Don't you think COVID-19 pandemic promoted or pushed us towards towards moving cashless economy? Let me know, right? COVID-19 pushed us because COVID-19, I'm pretty sure all of you know how the germs actually spread, virus actually spread. At that point of time, basically, we were using digital methodologies or digital modes of payments. And most of us, I'm pretty sure we have used mobile, right, etc., to make payments, right? And that is one reason why UPI suddenly boomed in case of India. Third one, demonetization. Back in 2016, Government of India demonetized 5,000 rupee note and 1,000 rupee note. And when government will demonetize these kind of currencies, automatically people will start utilizing digital modes of payment. Introduction of 4G technology. Sir, how 4G has promoted UPI in India? My dear, it's very simple. Better technology, better speed, and that will help us in settlement of the transaction at a much faster pace, right? So introduction of technology such as a 4G and a now proposed 5G, which will make it faster to settle or make payments. Cheaper smartphones, right? Don't you think compared to, let's say, 10 years ago, the the pricing of the smartphones in case of India today, you will get multiple smartphones in a very budget friendly manner. Pricing of the smartphones budget friendly, right? That is even at 15,000 rupees, 18,000 rupees, even at 10,000 rupees, but quality is inferior. So you will be able to purchase smartphones in India today. So because the smartphones have become cheaper, people are able to use the smartphones to make, right, the digital transactions. And merchant acceptance, the acceptance of merchants. Who are merchants here? The sellers. For example, you go to a shop, right? The seller is nothing but a merchant. The merchants also have promoted or have been very instrumental in UPI becoming successful because they have accepted digital transactions, they have accepted digital payments, right? That is, merchant acceptance has increased. And what has helped in increasing the merchant acceptance? Government of India has reduced the merchant discount rate to 0%. Merchant discount rate has been reduced to 0%. Meaning what? Imagine you go to a merchant, you will purchase a product, you will scan a QR code, right? Let's say there is a Paytm QR code, which means the QR code, the infrastructure facility for settlement of the transaction is provided by Paytm. So the company Paytm would collect a certain amount of money from the merchant. Does it make sense to you? Those who are typing, listen first. Those of typing, listen to the lecture first. I'm explaining, you're busy in typing. I'm explaining the same thing, my dear. Right? You have gone to a shop, you're scanning a QR code of Paytm. Paytm company will impose and collect certain charges from merchant for providing the transaction. That is called as merchant discount rate. Right? Government of India has reduced the merchant discount rate to 0%. And right, this 0% merchant discount rate has increased the acceptance of digital transactions by merchants. Okay, so these are some of the factors that have promoted growth of UPI in India. Now, why there is a concern that UPI will not grow, right? Will not be very successful in rest of the world as it has become successful in India. First one, in case of India, there was a huge government support, right? Government supported digital economy. Government supported, right, the promotion of cashless transaction, cashless economy. So government of India was behind the promotion of UPI. Is there any guarantee that in rest of the world governments will provide the same support? Absolutely no guarantee. Second one, in poorer countries, the banks may not be as strong, as stable as banks in India, right? The banks in India are much more stable, and you want to have right? Let's say a UPI ecosystem, you require a lot of infrastructure for that. The banks should be willing to provide settlement of the transaction, right? Certain infrastructure has to be installed. For example, QR codes have to be distributed, created, etc. So what is a guarantee that in other countries, the banks will be as stable, as strong as banks in India? There is no guarantee. That is also second concern. Third concern, the card service providers may lobby against UPI. For example, what is the meaning of it? There is a RuPay debit card, there is a Visa debit card, there is a Master debit card. These are card service providers. Now, what is a guarantee that in other countries they will sit quietly and UPI will become very famous? There could be a situation wherein the company, Master company, as well as the RuPay company, or let's say even Visa company, they will approach government, they will try to influence the policies of the government, they will lobby against introduction of UPI. That is also one more concern. The card penetration in many countries is very, very high. And there is a new system called as NFC, Near Field Communications. Have you seen the new type of card where you can simply tap and make a transaction? Yes or no? NFC technology, where you can simply tap the card and make a transaction. Of course, there's a limit. Now tell me, in case of UPI, right? In case of UPI, you will have to scan and you will have to provide identification. Identification in the sense you will have to pin, you'll have to enter the pin. You think this is easier or simply tapping the card is easier? Let me know, right? What do you think is much more easier? Scanning, right? Scanning, again, expecting internet connectivity is there, right? And then entering the UPI pin, or you will simply take out your card and tap the card and the payment is done. Don't you think tapping of the card is much more easier? Some of you are saying scanning is easier, right? What is your argument? You tell me. Because I, as a customer, I would simply prefer to take my card, tap, and go. That's it. Because the time consumption is easy. Additional factor authentication is not there. That is the idea. Okay. So if the customers are very happy, they are already adjusted with the concept of near field communication. Don't you think you are asking them to use UPI now? They will oppose it. Let me know, right? They will simply oppose it, right? That is basically the concern here. In some of the countries, the mobile wallets are accepted already. There is a huge population which is already using mobile wallets. And when large population is using mobile wallets, you want them to shift to, right, UPI. They are already accustomed. They are already used to the idea of mobile wallets. They will transfer the funds in the mobile wallet, right? Whenever the funds need to be transferred, payments are supposed to be made, they will use the mobile, make a payment. That is basically acceptance of mobile wallets. So in many countries such as Kenya, for example, in Kenya there is a mobile wallet, very, very famous, M-Pesa, very, very famous. In Kenya, the concept of mobile wallet, that is M-Pesa, is very, very famous. So there are a lot of customers who already are using mobile wallets. You want them to shift to another technology, they will not accept it. Okay, right? So these are some of the concerns which have been raised by various experts, and they're saying that it may not be easier, right? That UPI will be acceptable in other countries, and right, it may not become successful as it has become successful in India. Done? So based on this discussion, I've given a question here. Write a note on advantages and concerns regarding internationalization of UPI. Write a note on advantages as well as the concerns regarding internationalization of UPI. Okay. Now, can we go to the next article? How far NFC is secured? My dear, that is the reason in case of NFC, I say generally there is a limit. How much a transaction you are allowed to make using a tap, there's a limit. Generally 2000 rupee limit is fixed. Why this article is only in Economic Times and not in other newspaper? That you will have to ask to them. If you ask me why this has appeared only in Economic Times, tell me, am I the editor of Hindu? Right? Okay. Next, de-dollarization. Can the dollar be replaced? Can the dollar be replaced. Why? Understand this. Very recently, after there was a breakout of war between the two countries, that is Russia and Ukraine, there is basically one opposing point. That opposing point is whenever USA does not like any other country, they do not like the policies of other countries, what they do is they'll try to impose sanctions. They will weaponize a dollar. Weaponize dollar means what? Have a look at this. We are conducting most of the trade in terms of dollar. Any problem here? I'm telling you a fact. I'm not asking you a question. We are conducting most of the trade in terms of dollar. That is, imagine I will export something, I will receive payment in dollar. If I import something, I will have to convert rupees to dollar and make a payment in terms of dollar. Now, what if government of USA will ensure that, right, my country, that is, let's say India, in case of India, we will not be allowed to convert rupee to dollar and will not be allowed to receive dollars. Right? Don't you think USA is weaponizing dollar here? Yes or no? USA is weaponizing dollar, and it is not new. USA has weaponized dollar in the context of Iran. In the context of Iran, weaponization of dollar has been done. In the context of Russia, they have weaponized the dollar. So there is a concern which has grown now. What is a concern? Whenever USA or the allies of USA will not like your policies, they'll simply weaponize your dollar and they'll try to basically dismantle your economy. They will try to dismantle your economy, because if you are unable to receive or make a payment in terms of dollars, what will happen to your whole economy? They'll try to dismantle your economy. That is basically the concern here. Now, in that case, can we replace dollars? Can we simply replace dollar, use any other currency in the international market for conducting trade, for settlement of any transaction, for bringing remittances, for making remittances, etc.? For any of the transaction, can we simply replace a dollar with any other currency? Right? Now, understand this carefully. Why I'm discussing this? In the last 1 month, multiple articles have come in multiple newspapers regarding the concept of de-dollarization. Right? One article appeared in Hindu, de-dollarization, the race to attain the status of global reserve currency. India, Russia suspend talks to settle trade in rupees. Now, let me explain. Right? Let me explain why dollars are so much needed in the international market. Every central bank across the world maintains forex reserves. I'm telling you a point, I'm not asking you. Every central bank across the world maintains forex reserves. And for example, in case of India, the RBI, which maintains forex reserves, what are the components of forex reserves? What are the components of forex reserves? Forex reserves will consist of gold. Forex reserves will consist of foreign currencies, mainly driven by dollars. Right? Forex reserves will also consist, right, of certain components from IMF. For example, there is a special drawing right? There is a gold tranche or reserve tranche. Now, do not start doing a PhD on rest of the things. Focus on the discussion. Now, within the foreign currencies, it is mainly dominated by dollar. It is mainly dominated by dollar. Now, have a look at this. If you look at the average, of forex reserves of rest of the world, that is all the central banks around the world, right, around 60% of the reserves are basically in terms of dollars. Around 60% of the reserves are nothing but in the form of dollars itself. 20% of the reserves are in the form of euros, right, followed by two more currencies, that is Japanese yen and British pound. Now, your argument is, let's replace a dollar. Let's replace dollar. Let's not use a dollar. Let's use anything else. Now, what will you do with these 60% of the reserves? Please tell me. And there is a reason. Many of you will ask, sir, why? Why, right, most of the countries conduct a trade in dollars? Why 60% of the reserves, right, are basically kept in dollars? My dear, point number one. Dollar is the most acceptable currency for conducting transactions in the international market. Simple idea, right? Dollar is the most accepted currency in the international market to conduct a trade. Now your question will be, why in the international market they will prefer dollar? You tell me what is your replacement. If your answer is why, my question to you people is, what is the alternative to that? Which is the largest country in the international market? Whose government has, right, let's say, more stability in the international market? In the international market, on which currency there is more confidence? Answer to all of that will be dollars. Answer to all of that will be dollars. Don't try to give any alternative. Alternatives will be wrong. You might become, right, a patriot of India, patriot of any other country. Your answer will be wrong. Why? Have a look at this. 40% of international trade is invoiced. Invoice means billed. 40% of invoices in the international market are done in dollars. In the international market, people have more faith. They are more, right, confident on the stability of dollars. That's the reason they will prefer to purchase, right, and pay in terms of dollars. And right, whenever they will sell, they prefer to get the money in terms of dollars. And please understand this, right? Have a look at this. Imagine you have exported, let's say, this bottle to China. Would you want to receive the payment in terms of yuan? Let me know. Right, you have made a payment to, you have exported this bottle to China. Chinese government will say, because you have exported, we'll make a payment in terms of my domestic currency, that is yuan. Will you accept yuan payment? Right, let me know another extreme question. Don't write this in the exam. Right, I've exported something, will you accept the payment in Pakistani rupees? Let me know, will you accept the payment in Pakistani rupees? No. Why? Tell me why. Is it stable? Right, so that is the reason. Don't write all of this. Compared to all these currencies, don't you think US dollar is much more stable? The government of USA is much more stable compared to all the other, right, countries. Right, and many of you are saying, sir, can we use yuan? Can we use Chinese currency in the international market? There is a rising trend, no doubt. There is a rising trend that many countries are actually using Chinese yuan to conduct trade. But please tell me, those who have read the newspaper, is, right, the Chinese government very stable? Are their policies very transparent? Do you think they will allow the market forces to determine exchange rate? Answer to all of this is absolutely no. Answer to all these questions that I've asked is no. Chinese government does not allow the market forces to determine exchange rate. They basically follow a type of a fixed exchange rate mechanism. That is the reason yuan is not a possibility, right? Other currencies are not a possibility. Somebody said, sir, can we use euro? In fact, the concept of euro, which was introduced back in 1999, was basically this. Within European market, right, the idea of a euro was introduced, and we said, okay, euro will be a replacement of dollar. Now, do you think European Union is stable? Euro is stable. Don't you think within the European Union there is so much of uncertainty, volatility, right, in terms of exchange rate, in terms of trade, etc., etc. So that is the reason. Again, do not complicate the issue. Do not complicate this issue, right? Just get fixed with the idea of a dollar. Dollar is an international currency. So point number one, why dollars are required? 40% of the total trade is billed, is invoiced in terms of dollars. Right, 60% of the forex reserves held by the central banks, it is in terms of dollars. When countries deal with each other, they would want a common standard, common currency for conversion, and that common currency, the currency should be stable, the economy should be large, policy should be transparent. That is basically the reason. The country that runs the anchor or standard, that is basically the common currency, that is, let's say, rupee to dollar and dollar to, let's say, euro. That is how you convert, right? So dollar is nothing but the common or a standard. So the country that is having the anchor or the standard must be very, very large. Any problem with any of the points here? Any problem? Let me know right now so that I can go forward. These are some of the reasons why dollars are required. Large in the sense, what is the value of GDP of USA? What is the value of GDP of USA? Right? So GDP of USA is very, very high, very, very high. Okay, last point. Again, same point that I'm explaining, you're asking me what is the last point. The GDP of USA is very, very high, more than $20 trillion. Right? India's GDP is $3.7 trillion. This is the answer to those who are asking why not Indian rupee. My dear, India's GDP is 3.7. USA's GDP is more than $20 trillion. Right? You want to compare GDPs between India and the USA? Absolutely no. You're basically wasting time by making a comparison. Now, these are some of the points. Have a look at this. Share of currency in the global SWIFT system. Right? Even after the outbreak, that is the Russia-Ukraine war, right, and the concern of weaponization of dollar, etc., favorability of dollar has actually increased. More and more transactions are getting conducted using dollars itself, right? And many of the industries are also preferring. Some of you ask, sir, explain graph. Graph is not required. Just understand, more and more industries are simply preferring to accept a payment in terms of dollars compared to, let's say, any other currencies. That is basically the argument here. Done? Now, many of you are asking, sir, why not Indian rupee? Okay, why not Indian rupee? If you're going to use dollars, why can't we promote Indian rupee? Have a look at this. In case of Indian rupee, the total amount of trade that we do in terms of rupees, right, the trade that we do is just 2% of the total trade. For just 2% of the total trade. Now, do you want the rest of the world to just look at the 2% of the total trade, accept more and more rupees? Let me know. Right? You want the rest of the world to look at just 2% of the trade, and you want the rest of the world to accept rupees. Nobody will accept it. Why? Your importance in the international market is just 2% of the trade. And second point is, India has a huge trade deficit with many trading partners. Let me explain what is the problem with this. Right? Let me explain what is the problem with this idea. India has a trade deficit, meaning what? We have imported, we also have exported. And trade deficit means what? The value of imports is higher. All of you agree? Trade deficit is simply nothing but value of imports is higher than value of exports. Now imagine you're conducting, right, rupee transactions, not dollars, rather than settling in dollar. Imagine you're making a payment in rupees. Let's say, right, 100 rupees worth imports and 40 rupee worth of exports. Means what? Another country, I'll write an example here. Imagine UK. UK has received extra 60 rupees from us. Agreed? Any problem here? UK has received extra 60 rupees from us. Now tell me, what should be the utility of 60 rupees for UK? Where they can use this rupee in the international market? Can you find any utility? Right? Will USA accept a payment in rupees? Absolutely no. Somebody saying, sorry, India. My dear, but you have a trade deficit with them. I hope you understand the meaning of the trade deficit. We have imported more compared to what we have exported. So whatever payment they're supposed to do us, they have already done it. After that, they have 60 rupees with them. So where will they use that 60 rupees? In international market, nobody will accept rupee. So do you think if you promote idea of internationalization, other countries will accept it? But rather than this, I'll change the numbers. I'll change the designation now. Let me know. $40 and $60, $100. Tell me now, can UK use dollars for conducting other transactions in the international market? I don't think this will work in favor for them. This idea of conducting transactions in dollars, will it not work in favor for them? Of course, the answer is yes. That is the reason, because we have a trade deficit and rupee is not used in the international market, only in India and neighboring countries, right? The rupee will not be favorable in conducting international transactions. Having an independent monetary policy will also be very, very difficult. Right? What is the connection here? If you allow for rupee to become an international currency, can rupee easily flow into India and flow out of India without any controls? Think of it. Again, I'm just dragging you back to the idea of internationalization. We have discussed all of this, right? If you have internationalization of rupee, that is in the international market, just like dollar, they will start accepting rupees. Imagine. Then don't you think rupee can easily flow into India and easily flow out of India without any controls? You will not have any control on it. If you have control, it is not internationalization. I hope you understand. I'll repeat it again. Understand what I'm saying. If you say rupee is an international currency, you cannot control how many rupees will come, how many rupees will go out of India. You cannot control it. Only then it is called as an international currency. If you say, okay, only 10 rupee can come into India, then you are controlling. If you are only controlling, will it be accepted in the international market? Right? That is the basic idea. Means convertibility. There is a term here, convertibility. That is, we are going to provide for full convertibility in the capital account as well as a current account. So the concern here is very simple. If the rupee will keep on flowing into India without any control, flow out of India without any control, can we have an effective monetary policy? Can we have effective monetary policy in India? That is, can you control what will be inflation? Can you control what will be interest rate? Of course, no, it cannot happen. Because if rupees will suddenly flow into India, right, the value of rupee will change. Rupee will start getting depreciated. Depreciation means it will have an impact on inflation. And when it will have an impact on inflation, RBI will be forced to increase interest rates. I hope you understand this. Effective monetary policy will be out of question. Right? So these are some of the issues that we have if rupee is accepted as an international currency. Now, those who are asking what is this concept, right? There is impossible trinity. In the earlier webinars, we have discussed a concept called as impossible trinity. Please refer to that. I'm basically referring to the same concept here. Okay, so these are some of the issues which are ensuring that, right, rupee cannot be used in the international market for conducting trade. Okay, now based on the discussion that I've had, again, what is the whole idea? What we have discussed? We need dollars in the international market. Can you replace a dollars in the international market? What is the alternative? Can rupee be the alternative? Answer is yes. Can yuan be the alternative? Again, the answer is yes. So whether you like it or you don't like it, dollar will remain a very dependent currency in the international market, a dominant currency in the international market. Okay, so done. Based on this, I've given a question here. With the weaponization of dollar, the governments around the world have been looking at alternatives to promote trade. And this provides an opportunity for India. Elaborate. Right? Elaborate. How it provides an opportunity? Can we say that if Government of India as well as RBI will slowly and steadily move towards capital account convertibility, rupee acceptance in the global market will increase? Yes or no? Rupee acceptance in the global market will increase. And if rupee acceptance in the global market increases, can we basically portray or pitch against the usage of dollar? Rather than using only dollar, if more and more rupee will start being used in the international market, can we move towards the idea of internationalization of rupee? That's the whole idea. So does it provide an opportunity for India? Of course, yes, but you'll have to give recommendations here. You'll have to provide recommendations. That is, the Government of India as well as RBI has to move towards capital account convertibility. Today in India, we do not have full capital account convertibility. We have partial. Right? Do you remember the concept? Partial capital account convertibility. Okay. Done. Can we go forward? Can we go forward? Any issues? Can we achieve internationalization of Indian rupee without full capital account convertibility? How? You tell me. If you want to have a full capital account convertibility, internationalization of rupee without full capital account convertibility. How? Right? Investors will not accept it, my dear. Investors will never accept it. They want to bring in rupee at any point of time without any control on it. They want to take out the rupees from India without any controls. But if you're going to have controls in the capital account, can you basically say it is an international currency? No, right? That is basically the argument. Should countries share G securities in trade? Should countries share G securities? I'm unable to understand the question itself. Should countries share G securities? What do you mean by share here? I don't know. Is it possible to use rupees between SAARC or BIMSTEC nations for trade? Again, please understand. Can you use with other currencies? Of course, yes. But other countries should accept it. I hope you understand. Other countries should accept it. Only then you can conduct trade. It's basically trade means what? Buying and selling. Simple idea. Buying and selling. You are asking me, sir, can we conduct rupee trade with the SAARC? So when you sell, right, or let's say when you purchase something from the SAARC, you're making payment in rupees. Don't you think SAARC country should accept it? So it all depends on the countries, right? Do you have that kind of a trade relation? Will they accept a payment in rupees? For example, India and Russia, we are making payments in rupees, but they have concerns now because, right, they have huge amount of rupees. They don't know what to do it. I hope you understand, right? They have exported a huge amount of goods to India, Russia and India I'm talking about, right? They have exported huge amount of goods to India. They have received lot of rupees. Now, what they are supposed to do with rupees? Tell me, what are they supposed to do with rupees? Right? You're asking them to invest in India, but they don't want to do that. They want to use it for something else. But rupee is not acceptable in all parts of the world. That is basically the concern. That is the idea of Russia and India suspending the talks on rupee trade. Okay. But sir, in case of dollars, US Fed controls dollars. Do they really control how much dollar will enter in US? No, they don't control how much dollar will come into US. They will also face the issue of impossible trinity. I hope you understand. They will also face the issue of impossible trinity. Only advantage is that because the acceptance of the dollar in the international market is very high, the stability of dollar compared to other currencies is very high. The faith of the international market on dollar is very high. Dollar has become a reserve currency in the international market. How depreciation of rupee will affect inflation? My dear, you will have to understand the basics then. You are asking me to discuss all the basics. If I discuss all the basics, I'll take 1.5 hours to discuss only one topic. If rupee depreciates, then $1 is equal to 50 rupees will become $1 is equal to 60 rupees. If rupee depreciates, what will happen to the import? Imagine you're importing this bottle at $1, right? Then you're paying 60 rupees compared to earlier 50 rupees. So automatically the imports will become costlier. Okay, done. So let me go to the next one. Will ONDC experience a success like UPI? ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce, very, very famous now. Open Network for Digital Commerce. Now, what is the concept of ONDC? Let me explain in a very, very nutshell, right? Very basic idea. Don't enter into technical aspects of it. Understand in a nutshell here. Now, imagine you want to purchase a product. You have either Amazon, you have Flipkart. Yes, you have Amazon or you have a Flipkart, digital commerce. But understand this, if a seller is there on Amazon, you're not a customer on Amazon. You're not registered on the Amazon. Can you order on the Amazon? I'll repeat the statement so that you understand what I'm talking about. There is Amazon app. You are not registered. You are not registered. I hope you know there is a registration process in Amazon. So you want to order, let's say, this bottle through Amazon. Until unless you are registered, can you order the bottle through a seller? Answer is no. I hope you understand this. Answer is absolutely no. You will have to become a registered right person first. Download the app, register, they will send you OTP, log in, and then order. Can we say the same thing, right? Vice versa. That is, let's say a seller is there on the Flipkart. That seller who is sitting on the Flipkart will not be able to sell it to a customer who is registered only on the Amazon. I hope you understand. So there is a problem. Problem is what? These digital commerce companies, they have created groups like this. Silo. They will use the term silos. Silo is nothing but groups like this. The digital commerce companies, they have created their own groups. And because they have created own groups, don't you think, right, they will try to protect their own interest in the form of, let's say, selling more products where they will get more commission, promoting only those goods, right, where their profit motive is higher, right, trying to promote their own goods, etc. So there is a concern with the government of India that digital commerce is growing in India, but in digital commerce there are silos. Silos is nothing but groups like this. There is no interoperability. I repeat, there is no interoperability. That is, a customer of Flipkart cannot order anything on the Amazon until unless they become a customer of Amazon. Right? So that is basically the silo structure that the government of India says. Is it good for India? Right? If it is happening in, let's say, e-commerce, right? Let's say only in case of marketing like this, it might happen tomorrow in food delivery. Right now, that is exactly what is there in the food delivery. Swiggy. You want to order through Swiggy? First register on Swiggy. And only then you will be allowed to order through Swiggy. What about Zomato? First become a customer of Zomato, then order through Zomato. So interoperability is missing. So what government of India says is they will set up a new system, open network for digital commerce. In the open network for digital commerce, these kind of groupings or silos will not be made. It will basically democratize. It will democratize e-commerce. What do you mean by democratize? It will ensure that irrespective of you're a customer or not a customer, doesn't matter. You will be able to get access to, right, their products. You'll be able to order their products using ONDC. Right? For example, under ONDC, just an example, you want to order through Swiggy. You don't have to download Swiggy app. You don't have to become a customer of Swiggy. You can directly go to the ONDC website. It is not an app. Remember this. ONDC is not an app. It is basically a platform. It is a platform. It is a website. So you can directly go to ONDC. In ONDC, Swiggy is there, right? Let's say Amazon is there, Flipkart is there. Hypothetically, I'm saying Amazon and Flipkart have not joined ONDC as of now. So you can basically go to this platform and search whatever products are there. You can order through ONDC. That is basically the concept of ONDC. Any issue with the idea of introduction of ONDC? I have not yet discussed whether it will be successful or what are the problems, etc. But any issues so far? It will simply democratize, right, the e-commerce in India. It will democratize means what? No barriers. You can simply log on to the ONDC and order from any of these sellers without being their customers. That's the idea of ONDC. Now, why I've taken the ONDC idea or concept of ONDC for discussion? Look at the articles which have appeared in the last 1 month. Again, I've given only 2 articles, but multiple articles have come. Right? What is open network digital commerce? There was an article in Hindu. Right? ONDC looks to take a bite from Zomato, Swiggy plate. There was an article in Business Standard. So a lot of discussion is happening whether ONDC will be successful, what are the concerns, what are the problems, etc., etc. Let's try and understand that. Next, right, certain basic points regarding ONDC. It is a Section 8 company. Remember this. Is it functioning? ONDC, is it functioning in India? Yes. Right now, in many of the states, in specific cities, ONDC is actually operational. So first point, ONDC is a Section 8 company. Now, what is the meaning of a Section 8 company? Section 8 company simply means, right, it is a non-profit organization. It is a non-profit organization, right? You can use the term non-profit or else not for profit organization. Okay, so ONDC is a Section 8 company, right? Section 8 company under Companies Act of 2013. Under Companies Act of 2013. That's a point number one. Who is promoting the model of ONDC in India? Which authority, which ministry is responsible for this? Right, it is sponsored by Department of Industry and Internal Trade. Department of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT. Please remember that. The network will include retailing, that is within ONDC, what kind of facilities are available? It will include retailing, it will include food delivery, it will include tourism, hospitality, travel, mobility, and wholesale trade. But as of now, most of the focus is on food delivery and retailing. As of now, most of the focus is on retailing as well as food delivery. In fact, Government of India, that is DPIIT, invited DPIIT invited the Amazon company as well as Flipkart company to join ONDC. So far, they have not joined. They have just stayed away. They have not joined so far. But anyways, right, these are certain important points here. ONDC will act as a direct bridge between consumers as well as sellers. That is, let's say this is the ONDC platform. I want to order food. I'm just telling you how the process will happen. UPSC will not ask you this. I will use the ONDC website or a platform. I will search for food. Right, either directly hotel delivery, that facility will be given to me. Swiggy facility is there, they will show that. Right, there is a Zomato facility, they will also show that. Whichever facility I want to use, I will order using that one. That is how basically the model of ONDC will work. Right, can we go forward? Can we go forward? Any issue so far? What is the benefit of these companies after entering to ONDC? My dear, I'll come to that. Just give me a minute, I'll come to that. I'll come to what is the benefit, etc. I'll come to that. Please focus and ask questions on what I'm discussing. What are the concerns? Why they are not joining? I'll tell you. Have patience. Please correct voice, my dear. If the voice is not coming proper to you, if this is the window and here is my video, at the bottom part there is one button, correct audio. Is the button there? Check it. Right, is the button there? Correct audio. Please hit that button. If there is any issue with the audio, automatically it will be corrected. Please use that. Okay. Why ONDC is needed in the first place? My dear, what were you listening to when I was telling you about Flipkart, Amazon, etc.? What were you listening to? And after discussing all of that, now your question is, why ONDC is required? I said democratization of e-commerce. I gave you example of whether you want to order from, right, let's say Amazon, you'll have to register on Amazon. I gave you the whole story. And after that, why ONDC is required? Very interesting questions, by the way. Again, which simply proves that you are not listening. Right? I will understand only one point from that. You are not listening to what I'm discussing. Okay, now, why ONDC is required? Have a look at this. E-commerce market has been broken down into silos. Silos again means what? Different components, different groups, and is dominated by very few companies. There have been accusations of companies promoting their own products. Have you come across this in the newspaper? Amazon will product its own product, right? The Flipkart will promote its own products. What about other sellers? Other sellers will be prohibited from selling. The current market players charge a very high commission, right? They will charge a very high commission. How much? As per government document, They charge somewhere in the range of 20 to 25%. Whereas on ONDC, right, government says we'll charge you around 3 to 5%. That is basically, right, understand this. Imagine a food is delivered. If a hotel food is delivered, the commission that the Swiggy will charge is, let's say, 20%. ONDC says, I will charge you 3%. Don't you think for a restaurant, it makes more sense to be on ONDC rather than delivering through, right, let's say Zomato or Swiggy? Can we apply the same thing even to a shop, small shopkeepers, etc., small companies, small manufacturers, etc.? That is the argument, right? So these are the three reasons why ONDC is actually needed in Indian market. Now, will ONDC achieve success like UPI? Will it become successful like UPI? Bigger players such as Amazon, Flipkart, etc. have not yet joined ONDC. Is it okay? They have not joined ONDC, right? In fact, I told you this, I'll repeat it again. Government of India says, please join ONDC. These companies so far have stayed away. They have not joined ONDC. And there itself, there is one more criticism. There's one more criticism. When Government of India promoted the idea, introduced the idea of ONDC, the government basically said that this will be a competition for Amazon and Flipkart. You can check it. Government said ONDC will be a competition for Flipkart and Amazon. Now Government of India saying Flipkart and Amazon, please join ONDC. Don't you think the messaging is not very clear for Government of India? Let me know. Right? The messaging itself is not clear for Government of India. You introduce a model, say that it will give a very tough competition to Amazon. Now you are saying, please join ONDC. Is it a competitor? Is it a facilitator? What is ONDC then? Right? I hope you understand this. But anyways, bigger players have not yet joined ONDC. They have stayed away. Point number 2. Will the government-backed entity achieve efficiency like a private sector company? I hope you understand. Will a government-owned company, will it become as efficient as, right, let's say a private sector company? For example, if you order something on the Amazon, large number of products can be delivered on the same day. I hope you understand. Large number of products can be delivered on the same day, or let's say next day, within 10 p.m., etc. Will that efficiency be achieved in ONDC? Because please understand, you want to become competitor to Amazon. It means you will have to have very good warehousing system. You will have to have a very good logistics system. You will have to have lot of support infrastructure that will make you a competitor, that will give Amazon a very tough competition. So again, now the question is, will ONDC be able to achieve that? And most of the experts say may not be. And that is the reason. Again, it's just a thought given by experts. Government realizes that it may not be able to become a competitor. It may not be able to, right, basically take away the market share of Amazon. Maybe that is the reason they're asking Amazon to become a part of ONDC. Maybe that is the reason they're asking Flipkart to become a part of, right, ONDC. Okay. Again, it is just a thought. Whether that is the objective or not, Government of India has not given any clarity on it. Penetration of e-commerce is only around 6%. Right? What do you mean by that? In the buying and selling, that is basically bottles, clothes, etc., e-commerce segment, out of the total market, that is, you go to a traditional shop, purchase a bottle. All of you will agree? You'll go to the shop, purchase a bottle. One more option is, you'll sit in the home, open the Amazon app, order the bottle. So e-commerce, out of the total sales that is done, e-commerce just accounts for 6% of it, which means only a small market, part of the market is e-commerce. So if ONDC becomes a successful, it is not controlling the whole market. It is simply controlling a fraction of the market. And finally, right, the ambiguous government messaging. That is, whether ONDC will be promoted as a competitor to Amazon and Flipkart, or it wants to basically become a facilitator for the growth of Amazon and Flipkart. Right? That is basically the argument here. Done? Right? So this is, these are certain important points regarding whether ONDC will achieve success like UPI. But having said so, are there any concerns regarding ONDC market or ONDC model? Are there any problems? Point number one, ONDC is yet to show any significant traction for e-commerce orders. Significant traction means what? You can order through Flipkart, you can order through Amazon, and you can order even through ONDC. You have options now. Very small part of orders are going through ONDC. Large number of orders are still with Amazon and Flipkart. That is meaning of the term, right? It has not shown any significant traction in the e-commerce space. Second one, the number of orders per day have increased. No doubt, number of orders have increased. Back in the March, the number of orders per day were 1,000. Now, the number of orders are 20,000 per day. But most of the orders, around 97 to 99% of the orders are within the same region, that is hyper-local orders. Hyper-local means what? Within a very, very short distance. In the same area, within a very, very short distance. For example, have you heard of Blinkit? Let me know. Have you heard of Blinkit? Right? What does the Blinkit provide? Blinkit will provide the daily groceries to you within 15 minutes, within 10 minutes. Right? Do you think you will be allowed to order, right, apples from Shimla? Think of it. Right? In the grocery app, that is Blinkit app, right? Will you be allowed to order apples from Shimla? No. Whatever is available in the store nearby, they will ask you to order it. That's it. Right? But in case of, let's say, any other, right, let's say Flipkart, can you order, right, a textile product from Jaipur? Think of it. Can you order in Amazon, right, a product from West Bengal manufacturer? Of course, yes. It is not hyper local. It is, right, national. So most of the orders that have happened in ONDC, 97 to 99% are basically hyper local orders. That is, which are delivered in a very, very short distance, such as food, such as groceries. I hope you understand this. Next, sellers. For example, I'm a seller. I'm there in the ONDC. I'm a seller. Don't you think on day-to-day basis, I'll have to keep on updating what products are available with me? Let me know what products are available with me. Don't you think on day-to-day basis, I'll have to keep on updating the catalog on the ONDC? Otherwise, what will happen? Right? I will open the ONDC, I will order a product, but the shopkeeper says when the delivery has to happen, the shopkeeper says no, right? The product is not available, right? That is basically lagging behind here. In case of ONDC, day-to-day basis, real-time listing of the products, right? They are not doing it, right? And there is a reason for that. Many of you ask me, sir, why? My dear, shopkeepers, small shopkeepers, how many people are working in the shops? Hardly 1 or 2 people. You're expecting the shopkeeper to forget about the customers who are coming there and keep on updating the catalog on the ONDC, right? That is a burden for him. It's a big burden for them, right? And last but not the least, logistical issues. Logistical issues. That is warehousing facility, transportation facility, delayed delivery of the orders, etc., etc. Right? So there are also logistical issues whenever, right, beyond hyper local orders are placed. Right? So these are some of the issues that the model of ONDC is facing in India. Any difficulty? Any difficulty? If there is no difficulty, I'll go forward. How can we place orders, international orders? Did I say ONDC will provide you international delivery of the products? Let me know. Did I say ONDC will provide international delivery of the products? No. Right? ONDC is focused on India. Right? You want to order something from Japan. How? Logistical issues. For example, you order from, let's say, something outside the state. ONDC, you ordered something from outside the state, which means the product has to be transported. There could be delivery. The product has to be packaged. Packaging of the delivery or product may not be done correctly, right? Delayed delivery can be done, etc., etc. Sir, will ONDC in future take the place of other apps in India? Right now, many apps are allowing you to place orders in ONDC. I hope you understand my point now. Right now, many apps are basically having a tab within the app. They have a tab ONDC. You can log on to the ONDC there and order. Otherwise, you can directly go log on to the website ONDC and order. Sir, but the inventory update is done by everyone to be in the game of e-commerce. My dear, that's what I'm saying. If you're a very big company, there's a separate department for doing it. What about small, right, units? What about small shops? Because even small shops, Kirana stores, they can become a part of ONDC. They find it very difficult to keep on updating the inventory there. Okay. Is ONDC cheaper? As of now, the experience is yes. If you have ordered food, that's the reason, right? If you look at the data, there itself, there is a very good hint for you. 97 to 99% of the orders, 20,000 plus orders are hyper local. That is food as well as groceries. At least as of now, ONDC, when you order food through ONDC, it is much cheaper compared to the food ordered through, let's say, Swiggy. That is a fact. It is right now cheaper. Okay, done. So question on this, the ONDC, in order to break the silo structure, many of you are asking silo. I've explained the term silo multiple times. Silo means groups, department like this. That is called a silo. Silo structure in the e-commerce space and democratize it needs to address the issues that it faces. Elaborate in 250 words. Okay. Is cartel and silo same? No. Cartel is a different thing. Silos is different thing. Okay. Fourth article, fostering rural crafts through ODOP. Article from Kurukshetra. Now, many of you will start typing, sir, ODOP. Let me explain ODOP first. ODOP simply stands for one district, one product. Please look at the top of the slide. Don't keep on typing. What is the expansion of ODOP? It is there in the top of the slide. Please look at it. One district, one product. Now, what is this idea for one district, one product? Back in 1970s, in Japan, the government in Japan introduced a model of one village, one product. And the idea for one village, one product was very simple. In each of the villages, they would identify one product, produce more and more of it, and try to sell more of it in the domestic market and try to sell it to the international market. So what in India happened was, the state of Uttar Pradesh, UP is nothing but Uttar Pradesh. The state of Uttar Pradesh adopted the model of one village, one product and slightly changed it and called it as one district, one product. And it was implemented in 2018. And looking at the success of ODOP in Uttar Pradesh, Government of India decided, why don't we adopt the same model, expand it to rest of India? Is the evolution okay with all of you? It was introduced the first time in Japan. Then the state of UP introduced it. Then Government of India looked at the success of it and said, why don't we expand it to rest of India? And that is the precise reason today, in case of India, throughout India, we have implemented a concept of one district, one product. And the model remains same. Model doesn't change. What is the model? In each of the state, there will be one or the other product which has export potential. I hope you understand this. In each and every state, that is specifically the districts, there will be one or the other product which will have export potential. And under one district, one product, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to promote the production of it and trying to promote export of it. I hope you understand this. We are trying to promote production of it and we want more and more of this product to be sold in the domestic market, that is other parts of India, as well as in the international market. For example, right, if you ask me, sir, right, are we promoting in the domestic market? Of course, yes. For example, right, don't you think there will be a lot of demand for certain handicrafts which are produced in Jaipur? Let me know. Certain toys which are produced in one region of India, certain agriculture products, or let's say sweets which are produced in one region of India. So there will be a huge demand, not only in that region, but in other regions as well. And what government of India says is, whatever issues are there, for example, skilling is a problem, will provide a skilling to the people there. Right? For example, marketing of that is a problem. We will promote the product not only in the domestic market, but also in the international market. You don't worry about it. But whole argument is, whether it is an agriculture commodity, whether it is an agriculture commodity or a non-agriculture commodity, if there is a potential for demand for the product outside the region, outside that region, whether it is in rest of India or outside India, will promote more and more production of it. Will simply promote it. For example, many of you will ask me, sir, any examples of the products that can be promoted under ODOP? This is a very, very small list. Right? For your convenience, I know many of you will start asking me, any example, any example, any example. I've given a very, very small list. If you ask me, do not waste your time in by hearting the list. Do not waste your time in by hearting this list. UPSC is not going to ask you this list. But what you need to remember is, right, under this, both agriculture as well as non-agriculture products will be covered. Production of it will be promoted, and the sale of it will be promoted in the domestic market as well as in the international market. This model is called as one district to one product. Now, next point, the idea for one district to one product, or the model of one district one product, now has been merged into one more initiative of Government of India. There is an initiative called as, right, districts as export hubs. Districts as export hubs. I'll repeat it again. Understand this? We have a scheme of one district, one product. We have one more initiative of government, specifically by DGFT, districts as export hubs, that is a DH. Now, what we have done is, one district, one product has been brought under districts, developing districts as export hubs. ODOP is a part of DH. Any problem in understanding this? ODOP is a part of DH. Okay. Now, apart from this, what you need to understand, so far, across more than 750 districts, across more than 750 districts, more than 1,000 products have been identified under ODOP. And Government of India has taken various measures. I'll show you that. Has taken various measures in order to promote production of it, right, and promote exports of it, and promote domestic sales of it. For example, let me show you one website. Let me show you the picture of one website. The website that I'm talking about is odopmart.com, and later you can check it out. Don't worry, it's there. Later you can check it out, odopmart.com. And this odopmart.com, which has been set up by the Government of India, what they do is, various products from different districts which are covered under ODOP, they are listed for sales on the website. Is it okay? They are listed for the sales on this website. In fact, if you log on to, or if you just check in this particular website, you can see region wise what products are there, right? Whether these are food products, non-food products, right? What is the price of it? What is the quality, etc., etc. All the information is available in the website. So this is what I'm trying to tell you people. Government of India is promoting the domestic sales as well as the international sales of all these products covered under ODOP. One district, one product. Now, what are the benefits of ODOP? These products will be made available in the domestic market. These will be made available even in the international market. Many of you ask me, sir, how? How can we ensure that this is available in the international market? Government of India through its various agencies is promoting, advertising these products in international organizations. Is it okay? Right? They are promoting, advertising these ODOP products in the international organizations. For example, there is one group called as World Economic Forum, WEF, very, very famous. World Economic Forum. In the meeting of World Economic Forum, Government of India is showcasing various ODOP products. Right? They are basically selling it to others, gifting it to others, etc. etc. They are marketing it. Simple. Right? If government officials will take these products, showcase it, automatically the attraction towards the products in the international market will increase. That's a whole idea. Okay. So the activities are being undertaken to promote marketing of the products, to improve packaging, quality packaging of the product, advertisement of the products at international organizations, etc. Right. So these are some of the benefits of one district, one product. How is ODOP different from GI tag? My dear, GI tag is given to products. Government says whether the product has a GI tag or no GI tag, I will promote it under ODOP. Okay. Next, what have been the issues then? Right? If this is so famous, what have been the issues? One issue that has been faced is lot of people, and again you're talking about people who are right illiterate, people who are not very well, let's say, educated in terms of digital technology, etc. One of the issues has been that lot of people who actually have the skill sets, who are traditionally involved in producing of these products, they are unaware of the initiative. I hope you understand this. They are unaware, right? The argument is government of India has launched the initiative, but who will ensure that the benefits, the scheme details, etc., will flow to the people who are actually involved in, right? Let's say manufacture of these products. Because don't you think, if you look at the products, please look at the names of the products: carving of the wood, right? Stone carvings, right? Let's say bamboo crafts, pottery and clay projects. Don't you think most of the people who are involved are illiterate people? Right? They do not know what kind of initiatives are undertaken by the government. Nobody is informing them, etc. So one of the issues that has been found is the flow of the information has been found to be poor. There is a need to educate people. There is a need to educate, right? Let's say all of these, let's say artisans, right? That there is an initiative like this, you can get the benefit from the initiative, etc. That is one concern. Second concern is basically that if you want to promote more and more production of it, they will have to increase the production capacity. Yes, they will have to increase the production capacity. And when they want to increase the production capacity, they would want to take a loan. Who is willing to provide loans to these kind of, right, let's say products or producers in the market? Right? Because these are very, very small producers. They do not have any kind of a security. They are not literate. They do not have a full-time job, etc., etc. So access to credit, access to say the loan is also one of the concerns. And that is exactly what I've given in the form of way forward here. Government should ensure there is increasing awareness amongst all of these people who are doing or producing these kind of products, and more institutional support in the form of, let's say, access to credit, right? Access to, right, institutional loans, etc., should be provided. This is the way forward regarding right the ODOP initiative. So a question on this: discuss how ODOP will help in making rural economy Atmanirbhar, self-reliant. How ODOP, one district, one product, will help Indian rural economy become self-reliant. Right? So we have discussed the points. You can use the same points to elaborate on the question. Done? Next, fifth article. Startups are revolutionizing India's growth story. An article from the May 2023 Yojana. But before that, any questions? Can you please elaborate ODOP in easy form? My dear. Right? How much easy you want me to make it? It is basically one district to one product. For example, forget about ODOP. Have you seen people in the villages making pots? Let me know. Have you seen people in the villages making pots? These pots can be sold. Again, not normal pots, artistic pots. These pots can be sold in the international market, can be sold in the domestic market, which means there is a huge potential of demand, higher demand for the pot. So government of India says in each of the district we will try to find out at least one product like this which can be produced more, can be sold in the domestic market as well as in the international market. Now if you are able to produce more and sell more, what will happen to your revenues? Simple. What will happen to your revenues? Your revenues will increase, right? The contribution to GDP will increase. The demand for goods and services, right, in the market, that is in the rural India, will increase. And that's a basic idea. It will also improve the employability of the people. Earlier, these people were seen, right, as non-contributors, or let's say, right, illiterate people do not contribute to the growth in the economy, etc. They'll become very good contributor to the economy. That's a basic idea, right? We have discussed all of that only. Okay. Does ODOP is used in all over India? Of course, yes. It is being used all over India. Okay. Section 8 company means what? These are the companies which are set up, which are not going to work for generation of profit. That's the reason this is called as a non-profit organization. Why Amazon and Flipkart did not join? Basically, they have not given any answer for that, and I don't think so they will join ONDC because they themselves are a company with very vast network. Why would they want to become a part of ONDC? It doesn't provide any benefit to them. Okay. What is the problem with silos? The problem with silos is that if Flipkart will have its own ecosystem, I as a seller, I will have to pay a lot of commission to Flipkart. Did I not explain this? If I'm a hotel, if I want to sell through Swiggy, I will have to pay 20% commission to Swiggy. Now ONDC is an alternative where 3% is there. And please understand, whether you're a customer of Swiggy, you're a customer of this, that doesn't matter. On ONDC, if I'm available, you can simply order through me. If I'm a hotel, you can directly order from me. And ONDC will charge me 3%. Is it not a benefit to me? And when, right, hotel will charge 3%, the food is delivered to you at a lower price. Is it not a benefit to the customer? Okay. Okay, done. Right, let me go ahead. Next article. Startups are revolutionizing India's growth story, an article in the May edition of Yojana. Now, first and foremost, Government of India starting from 2016 has implemented a scheme by the name of Startup India Scheme. Have you heard of name of the scheme? Let me know. Have you heard of name of the schemes? Right, that is basically the Startup India Scheme, under which Government of India is promoting the growth of startups. What are the initiatives? What are the reforms? I'll come to that later. Don't worry. What is the status of Indian startup ecosystem in the international market? India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. That is the number of startups in India. Startups in India are the third largest in the international market. Right, have a look at this. By 2023, India, as per the data that has been published by PIB, Press Information Bureau, December 2022, right, basically 2,68,823 startups are set up in India. Whereas in 2016, the number of startups, right, in India were only 10. Right, that is basically, I'm sorry, job creation. The number of job creation is 2,68,000. The number of startups is 99,371 by March 2023, which was just 442 in 2016. Right, which means over a period of time, thanks to the policies of Government of India, the startups in India have been promoted. The number of startups, right, have been promoted. Second, India also has the largest number of unicorns. Unicorns simply is based on the valuation, right? Any company, any startup with a valuation of more than 1 billion, etc., these are called as unicorns. So India also has the second largest number of unicorns in the international market. Okay. Now, under Startup India initiative, what reforms have been implemented? What measures have been implemented? Now, let me start with the definition of a startup here. Whenever you use the term startup, as per Government of India, these three features have to be met by the company. These three features have to be met by the company. That is one, right? The company must be registered. The company must be registered. Registered where? Right? Arey Baba, how many times you will keep on asking the same question? Did I not answer what is unicorn? Unicorn simply means a company whose valuation is more than $1 billion. Right? I'll write it. Even then you will ask me. $1 billion, if the valuation of the company is more than $1 billion, that is a startup's valuation, then this is called as a unicorn. Okay. Now, many of you are asking third largest means what? India has the third largest number of startups in the world. The term is self-explanatory. Anyways, so what are the features? Why do we need startup, etc.? Let's understand this. Let me start with the definition of a startup. As per DPIIT, if you want to be recognized as a startup, you'll have to meet three conditions. One, you'll have to be registered. Registered means what? You'll have to be registered under Companies Act, or you'll have to be registered under Partnership Act, or you'll have to be registered under Limited Liability Partnership Act. I'll repeat it again. You'll have to be registered under the Companies Act, that is 2013, or you'll be registered under the Companies Act of 1932. Third, right, you can be registered under Limited Liability Partnership Act of 2008. And that is point number one. Point number two, from the date of incorporation. Incorporation simply means from the date of establishment. When did you establish the company? From the date of setting up of the company till today, the age of the company, right? The number of years for which the company is working should not be more than 10 years. And third one, third one, the turnover. That is basically the number of the amount of revenue that you have generated annually should not have crossed more than 100 crore rupees. Right. So these are the three things, right, that a company has to satisfy to become a startup. Now, why there is a requirement of a Startup India initiative? Why do we need to promote startups in India? Right. One, it will create lot of employment opportunities. That's a fact. We'll be able to create lot of employment opportunities. Point number two, these startups will not focus on traditional businesses. They'll focus on new businesses. Best example, right? Education tech, edutech technology. Sorry, edutech companies. Right? Many startups are there in edutech companies, in the form of edutech companies. Right? The idea of providing education online, it's a new type of a business. Earlier, let's say in 1947, there was no concept of like this, right? Or let's say Ola, Swiggy, Zomato, these are new age businesses. These are not traditional businesses. These are new businesses. Okay. So it will create jobs. These are going to focus on new age businesses. It will attract a lot of investment, right? It will attract a lot of investments, and it will also promote a lot of competition as well as innovation. It will promote a lot of competition as well as innovation in the segment. Okay. And some of you are asking, sir, examples of educational technology companies. My goodness. Right. I don't know what you know, what you don't know. The question three people have asked, any example of edutech companies? This is very interesting, by the way. Okay. Right. You are enrolled in one of them. Anyways, come to the next point. Come to the next point. What are the provisions of Startup India initiative? Okay. What are the provisions in the Startup India initiative? First one, Government of India has provided income tax exemption. That is, please understand this. Imagine you are a startup in 10 years, right? That is basically your age of the company should not be more than 10 years, right? Out of 10 years, for 3 consecutive years, you did not have to pay any income tax to government. Any problem with this? Let me know, right? in these years, for any 3 consecutive years means continuously 3 years, right? So 3 consecutive years, you do not have to pay any taxes to government. For example, you generate a profit of 50 crore. Do you have to pay 22% taxes to government? No. You generate a profit of 10 crore rupees. Do you have to pay income taxes on that to the government? Again, answer is no. So corporate taxes, income tax is nothing but corporate taxes on companies. So for 3 consecutive years, 3 continuous years, you do not have to pay any taxes to government. That is income tax exemption. Next, intellectual property, IP. IP is nothing but intellectual property. For example, a technology company is there. They have created a technology. They want to get a patent for it. If you go through a normal process, right, it will generally take around 4 to 7 years in case of India. Government of India says, I will speed track it. I will simply ensure that you will get the patent as soon as possible. We will improve the speed. We will increase the speed of the process. Okay. Third one, self-certification. Third one is self-certification. What do you mean by self-certification? Self-certification simply means there are various provisions under different laws that you're supposed to implement. Is it okay? I'll repeat it. There are various provisions in different laws that you're supposed to implement. There are certain provisions under Factories Act. There are certain provisions under, let's say, Industrial Disputes Act. There are certain provisions under Environmental Acts, etc. Now, rather than government sending an inspection team to your factory, what you can do is you can only give a self-declaration to the government. You can simply say, right, whatever provisions I'm supposed to abide by, whatever laws I'm supposed to implement, I'm implementing all of them. That is basically self-certification. Any difficulty so far? Next one is fund of a fund. I'll explain this. Listen to me very carefully. Listen to the lecture very carefully now. What is a fund of fund? Government of India has set up a fund. Simple idea. Government of India has set up a fund. And government has allocated 10,000 crore rupees in the fund. Now, money from this fund will be given to other institutions in the market. Money from this will be given to other financial institutions in the market, and these institutions will invest in the startups. Any problem understanding the sequence here? Government of India has set up a fund, a startup fund of 10,000 crore rupees. And money from this fund will be given to other institutions who will invest in the startups. Now, because, right, the fund is giving funds to other funds. Is it okay? I'll repeat it. Funds, that is money from this fund, is given to other funds. This is called as fund of fund. Any difficulty? You can also use the term, this is a daughter fund. These are called as daughter funds, and this is called as mother funds. This is a daughter fund and this is a mother fund, right? And this mother fund is called as fund of funds. Now, many of you want to do PhD here. Sir, what are these institutions? Alternative investment funds. Now tell me, have you read about alternative investment funds? Have you covered anywhere regarding alternative investment funds? Right? Any book has given about AIF? Generally, no. Right? Alternative investment funds, not mutual funds. No, my dear, not mutual funds. Alternative investment funds, AIFs. right? There are different types of investment funds in the market which are called as AIFs. These are regulated by SEBI. AIFs are categorized into three: AIF1, AIF2, AIF3, etc., etc. That's the reason I don't want you to get into all of those complicated concepts. Argument is simple. Government of India will create a fund. This is a fund of fund. That's it. Do not create a complication here, right? So from this fund, funds will be given to other funds. They will invest in the startups. Okay, this is basically the idea of a fund of fund. Next one, faster exit policy has been implemented, right? Faster exit policy. In case of a startup, Government of India has introduced an exit policy of 90 days. Government of India has introduced an exit policy of 90 days. That is, exit means you want to close the company, right? And please understand, many of you believe that exit means you will simply lock the gate and go home. According to you, exit means locking the gate and going home. No, that is not an exit, right? You have registered under Companies Act. Should you cancel your registration or not? Let me know. You are registered under Companies Act. If you want to close the company, should you cancel your registration? Answer is yes. You are applied for electricity connection. Should you cancel your electricity connection? Answer is yes. You have to pay certain amount of money to the government in certain charges, right? Some type of charges. Can you simply go without paying the charges? No. Which means legally whatever is required to show that this company does not exist, all the legal requirements will be satisfied. That is called as exit policy, right? So faster exit policy of 90 days has been proposed. And finally, right, there's a policy of Government of India, public procurement. Under public procurement, Government of India will procure from micro and small enterprises. Government says, right, even when I'm procuring from the micro and small enterprises, I'll try to procure from startups in India, right? Certain relaxations will be provided in terms of procurement from micro and small enterprises. We'll try to procure from even the startups, right? So these are certain very important provisions under the Startup India initiative implemented by the government to promote startups in India. Okay, now, any issues faced by the startups in India? Any problem faced by the startups in India? First one, startups are finding it very difficult to raise capital from the market, right? Because understand this, startup means the money requirement will be very large, but the money that they actually have will be very, very less. So they want money from the market. They want to raise money from the market. And because it is very risky to invest in the startups, right? Investors do not show interest here. And second, in recent times, because of recession here, right, or let's say problem in the economy, etc., the funds which are going into startups has actually gone down. That is a point number one. Second one, all the startups are not able to sustain the competition, right? All of them are not able to sustain the competition, right? They are not able to sustain and they will be forced to shut down in the market. That is the second one. Third one, many of the startups, they have a technology, they have a product also, but the kind of products they are able to produce right now, these are very costly. I hope you understand this. There are startups, they have created a technology, but for them to sell it in the market, the product is very, very costly. And consumers would not prefer such a product in the market, which is very, very costly for them. That is the reason, right? They are not able to produce, right? Bring out, develop a good which will be cost effective in the market. They will not be able to sustain their operations. They will be forced to shut down over a period of time. And in case of India, right, the number of patents which are issued are very low. If you remember, right, there was one provision regarding patenting itself. There is one provision regarding patents. The number of patents which are issued in case of India are very low. I'll show you data, have patience, right? And the time taken for patents in India is very high. Investment in research and development is very low. As per economic survey, investment in research and development in India is 0.7% of GDP. 0.7% of GDP, very, very less than 1% of GDP. And time taken for patenting, right? That is, you apply for a patent. How much time they will take to give you patent? It's very, very high in India. For example, have a look at the data. Please do not by heart anything in the graph. Please do not by heart anything from the graph. What you need to make observe, or what you need to infer from this graph is very simple, right? There is certain process which is followed. Okay, there is certain process which is followed. There are certain steps which are taken. First step is this, second step, third step. Now you'll start asking what is first step, what is second step. UPSC will never ask you that. Focus on the concept now. Now have a look at this. The time that is taken to give you a patent in the last step in India. There are multiple stages to give you patents. In the last step, when the patent is given to you, on an average, right? On an average, how many months are taken here? Please have a look at the data. How many months are taken here? In case of Brazil, 62 months are taken, 5 years. And in case of right India, how many months are taken in the final stages of giving your patent? 42 months. That is, again, I'll repeat it. There is a particular process. You do not have to be worried about the process, right? All you need to simply remember are 2 points. One, the amount of investment done in research and development, it is right 0.7% of GDP, which is very, very low, very, very low. And point number two, the time that is taken to give a patent in India is very, very high. And for example, right, have a look at the data here. Please do not buy it. Those 2 points are more than sufficient. In India, in the first stage, they take 18 months to process your application. In the last stage, to give you a patent, they take on an average 42 months. 42 months, right? That is basically 3.5 years. That's not a very small amount of time. That's a very, very lengthy time period, right? So that is a concern here. That is a concern. Okay, that is affecting the performance of the startups in India. Not just startups, even pharmaceutical companies, even technology companies, etc., etc. Done. So these are some of the issues that are faced by startups. So question on this: discuss the measures undertaken by the government to promote the growth of startups in India. 15 marker, 250 words. Any questions? Any issues? Let me know. What is R&D? Research and development. R&D is a research and development. Sir, in the previous slide, 0.7% of what? 0.7% of GDP. It is written. It is written in the slide only. 0.7% of GDP. Startups also need much time to flourish in India. Yes, because of all of these reasons, they will take a longer time period to actually generate revenue and break even and start earning profits. For particular district is responsibility of collector register behalf of them. I believe you're asking me about one district to one product. Please remember this. In case of ODOP, now the process is at every district level, there will be District Export Promotion Council, DEPC. I'll repeat it. Right? District Export Promotion Council, DEPC. At every district level, DEPC will be set up. And at every state level, SEPC, State Export Promotion Council, SCPC is also set up. It is the duty of DEPC as well as SCPC to find out which product has the export potential, which product domestic sales can be improved, etc., etc. Like I've already told you, more than 750 products have been more than 1,000 products have been identified across more than 750 districts in India. Okay, any issues? So GDP is missing. No, my dear, it is there. It is there right in front of your eyes. It is a 0.7% of GDP. Okay, done. Let me go to the last article then. UPI Lite needs more push from the banks. Very, very small article, small concept. But I felt question can be asked about UPI Lite both in prelims as well as mains. For example, right, have a look at the question here. Discuss the measures implemented by the NPCI to promote a digital economy and financial inclusion. And one, right? One reform that you can write, which can be used to promote the digital economy as well as financial inclusion, is UPI Lite itself. Now, what is this idea of a UPI Lite? Very, very interesting concept, by the way. All of you have all of you have heard of concept of UPI. You have used UPI, yes or no? Right? What is UPI? Basically, UPI is used to make transactions between two parties. Simple, right? Imagine I'm a seller. I've got a QR code. You will use the UPI, scan the QR code, and right transfer the payment to me. That is the utility of UPI. But what if you are in a rural part of India? What if you are in villages? Internet connection is not there. Do you think their UPI will be effective? Think of it and let me know. Right? Will UPI be effective in the regional part of India, rural part of India, especially where there is no stable internet connectivity? Right? And that is where the concept of right UPI Lite was introduced by Reserve Bank of India. There is this idea of a UPI Lite. What is this UPI Lite? Let me explain the idea here. Right? In case of UPI Lite, you will open the UPI. Let's say the UPI Lite app is there. You will download it. You will basically open a wallet. You'll open a wallet. If you ask me, sir, what is wallet here? Have you used a Paytm wallet? Let me know. Have you people used a Paytm wallet? What do you do in the Paytm wallet? From the bank account, you will transfer the money in the Paytm wallet. That's it. Right? From the bank account, you can transfer the money into Paytm wallet. Apply the same logic here. From the bank account, you can transfer the money into UPI Lite wallet. UPI Lite wallet. That is point number one. Point number two, what is the advantage of this then? There's a Paytm wallet already. Why should I use UPI Lite? Why can't Paytm? The advantage of using UPI Lite is that you can make transactions without any internet. No internet connection is required. No internet connection is required here. Using UPI Lite without having internet connectivity, you can make a transaction. And that is a precise reason. Please have a look at it. Whenever you talk about UPI and UPI Lite, right, what are the features of a UPI Lite? The upper limit for transactions using the UPI Lite is, right, upper limit is 200 rupees. And those are asking, what is the difference? What is the difference? My dear, the difference is there right in front of your eyes. Simply don't keep on asking. Right? Observe. Keep looking at the discussion also. Right? So UPI Lite, in case of UPI Lite, the highest limit of a transaction is how much? 200 rupees. And in case of UPI, the highest limit for UPI transaction is up to 2 lakh rupees. But another very important difference is when you make a UPI transaction, you are supposed to you are supposed to key in what is your PIN. Right? You will have a 6-digit PIN or a 4-digit PIN. You will basically use the PIN, right, to confirm the transaction. It is called as additional factor authentication. It is called as additional factor authentication, AFA. Right? PIN is mandatory to conduct UPI transactions. Whereas in case of UPI Lite, no PIN is required. You can simply transfer funds, but very, very small amount of fund is allowed. Currently, 11 banks are actually using UPI Lite. They are promoting it. And more than 100 types of institutions are promoting UPI. It is available in near offline mode. Now, what is this near offline mode? Please understand this. I said, whenever you want to load the money, you want to transfer money in the UPI Lite, you require internet to transfer funds from your bank account. Done? You can use the internet to transfer the funds from the bank account. So here, internet is required. Internet is required. But on the other side, you want to make a payment using UPI Lite, no internet is actually required. So that is the precise reason. They will simply say that UPI Lite, it is basically available in near offline mode. It is not completely offline, right? Can I say at no point of time in UPI Lite, internet is right not required? No. You want to load the money into the wallet, internet is required. But you want to make a payment, internet is not required. Whereas in case of UPI, there is no question of loading. You will have to have right the internet to make any transaction. If there is no internet, UPI will not facilitate the payment itself. So near offline mode, right, only in online mode. In case of payment, the cash is debited from the wallet. In case of the payment, the cash is debited directly from the bank account. Right, that is basically the difference between the UPI Lite as well as UPI. Done. Now, right, what is the argument given in the article here? What is the argument given in the article? RBI, in order to promote more and more online transactions, even in the region where there is no stable internet connectivity, introduce the concept of UPI Lite. Okay, UPI Lite. And because there's no stable internet connectivity, I don't have to have internet always. I can easily have money loaded into the wallet and I can keep on using this wallet to make transaction. That is basically the advantage of UPI Lite. But what the article simply says is the number of UPI transactions in India have increased. The number of UPI transactions have increased. Data is given here. Do not buy hard data. UPS is never going to ask you how much trillion of UPI transactions are there, how much rupees is transferred through UPI. UPS, that question is not going to ask by UPI. I'm sorry, UPSC. What they can ask you is the question of differences like this. They can ask you the question of differences like this. They can ask you the question, right, about only UPI Lite. They can ask you a question distinguishing between UPI Lite as well as UPI, but I don't think so. They will ask you how much rupees worth of UPI transactions are done, because that is very dynamic. It will keep on changing. So argument is simple here. With the objective of promotion of let's say offline the payments like this, where internet stability is not there, RBI introduced UPI Lite. But what RBI itself says is only around 2% of the total transactions, only around 2% of the total transactions, right, are basically happening here. Only around the 2% of the transactions are being right done through UPI Lite. And the reason for that is RBI says there is less awareness. There is less awareness. People are not aware about UPI Lite. And because of less awareness, what is happening is the adoption of UPI Lite has not picked up in the Indian market. But you tell me, don't you think UPI Lite, if adopted more and more, will help in promoting digital transactions, especially in rural India? Will it not help in promotion of financial inclusion, especially in rural India? Because in urban India, right, uninterrupted internet supply is there, right? Uninterrupted. Only when you go to the basement of a building, or let's say you're very much part of interior of the building, right, internet connectivity will become problem. But in most part of any let's say transaction that you're conducting in normal day-to-day course of the business, internet availability is always there with you. So that is the reason the idea of right UPI Lite has been promoted, but adoption is very less, because that communication is not reaching to the people. So we need to promote more and more, create awareness among the people regarding the UPI Lite, so that the adoption will also increase. Done. Right, so this is a short, very small concept regarding UPI Lite. Not very big concept, but definitely yes, you can use this concept in answering the questions such as discuss the measures implemented by NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India, right, to promote digital economy and financial inclusion. Done. So these are the various articles that I wanted to discuss with you people. If you have any questions, please do let me know, so that I can address this, and then we can wind up the discussion. What are other measures taken by NPCI? FASTag, UPI, right? There are so many measures, my dear. Common standard for currency conversion. Here, which type of common standards are talking about? I told you, right? I told you that You want to conduct a trade with, let's say, Japanese right company. So what you do is you will take rupee, convert that into dollar. You will give the dollar to the Japanese company. They will convert that into yen, not yuan, yen. What is a dollar here? The dollar is a common currency. The dollar is a standard. So it is much easier to convert and hold a standard rather than trading in domestic currencies. That's a basic idea. Okay. Why India takes 42 months to give patents? Again, I've told you, economic survey has given answer to all of this. Number of inspectors are very less. Now, should you read about inspectors under patenting system? Not required. Right? So that's the reason. There are so many reasons. You don't have to become an expert in everything. Trust me. In economics, you don't have to become an expert in everything. When I say this is a fact, simply take it and go forward. Please go forward. Okay. For the last UPI topic, the difference is more than enough to fetch 15 marks. If the question is straightforward, differentiate between UPI Lite and UPI, that table itself you can by heart and throw it in the paper. What is the use of the wallet? Why cash from the bank is transferred to the wallet? My dear, when you are in the rural part of India, again in urban part of India, you can easily conduct transactions. When you are in rural part of India, there is no stable internet connectivity. And when there is no stable internet connectivity, you cannot always make UPI transactions. That is the reason there is a system called as UPI Lite proposed. Okay. Okay, done. Anything else? Sir, earlier RBI promoted *99# as mode of payment without needing internet. Then what is the need of UPI Lite? Has a *99 hashtag. Has it become famous? Let me know. Yes, there was a model. I'm not saying no. Right? There was a model that was proposed to make offline transactions only. *99 hashtag. It did not pick up. It did not become famous. That's a reason. Okay. How UPI can help in forex transactions? Right? For example, imagine I've gone to USA. Now, if I've gone to USA, if I want to conduct transactions, there nobody is accepting UPI. If they're accepting UPI, I can directly take the UPI, make a payment scanning the QR code, right? Rupees would be converted into dollars and paid to the acceptor. That is not the situation. Now, if UPI is accepted, transactions will become much more easier. Okay, done. So let me stop the discussion today here. Right, next month again we'll meet. We'll pick up right again 6 more important articles from current affairs, and we'll have a thread by discussion regarding all the articles. But before I wind up the discussion today, what I gather generally, what I gather from most other students is you expect that A to Z everything in economy you will learn in webinar. Is it a rational expectation? Please think of it. This is my sincere advice to all of you. Right, you expect that, let's say I take up an internationalization concept, you want me to teach everything related to that static concepts in the webinar. If I do that, my dear, concept of internationalization itself will take 1 hour. That is the reason I keep on telling you people, revise the basics. Right, without knowing the basics you cannot understand current affairs topics. Okay, so this is my advice to you. Read newspapers, revise your basics, keep your fundamentals strong. Okay, so take care. Good night. See you next time.